Packers thrive in the cold. By the way, it is.
Now Brett Favre and the Pack can focus on loftier goals.
The women and children, baby.
Tonight, Green Bay seeks revenge and the chance to play games in Lambeau well into January.
Right. Whole field. This is the start of something big. Everybody, step up.
Only 2 men in the history of the game have thrown more touchdown passes. Only 5 have won more games as a starting quarterback.
Southern Mississippi.
And no quarterback has ever been as durable. Tonight, Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers take on the Minnesota Vikings. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. The Packers have already clinched their division, and now they're playing for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And that would be huge because they never lose here in January. Never. One of the 3 losses they had during the regular season this year came against the Vikings, a bright spot in an otherwise dismal Minnesota season. What is the most striking difference between these 2 teams? The Packers are number 1 in the NFL in turnover ratio. The Vikings are dead last. Now, it's not always the quarterback's fault, but Joe, Dante Culpepper has more turnovers than anybody in the game.
Mike, when you throw 19 interceptions, it is the quarterback's fault. Dante Culpepper really got into his head in the beginning of the year when Mike Tice said, we want the Randy ratio. That means that 40% of the passes were to go to Randy Moss. He tried to do that. It didn't work out very well. He threw interceptions. Then he started to get tentative. Finally, in Week 10 against the New York Giants, Mike Tice had seen enough. He benched Dante Culpepper. But he said, look, you're coming back. You're my starter next week. That was against the Green Bay Packers. He pulled a big upset in that ball game and got back on track. But the guy that really has to get it going is Randy Moss. He makes this offense go. Randy Moss, you look at the numbers that he posts, it's incredible. It's like he's had a career against the Green Bay Packers. He's done so many things, 6 100-yard games in the 9 games that he has played. And the one thing I enjoyed when I had a chance to talk to him the other day, he said, I really am motivated in this game because I get a chance to share a stage with Brett Favre. And boy, isn't he something.
Well, the interesting thing, Joe, is that the Minnesota Vikings are one of the few teams in the National Football League that Brett Favre doesn't have a winning record against. And down on that field, it's going to get downright nasty tonight. Joe mentioned that 3 weeks ago, Green Bay went to Minnesota and lost. Well, Favre threw 3 interceptions. He got John with the defensive line, and he left the game with a $5,000 fine for unsportsmanlike conduct. So yesterday we had a chance to talk to Chris Hovan, defensive tackle at Minnesota. He said, we are not backing down. And he also said, if you're going to get in a dogfight, you better pick out the biggest dog. Well, the biggest dog here tonight is Brett Favre. And he's got 2 things that he wants to do. He wants to win, he has revenge on his mind, and also home field advantage.
All right, thank you, Paul. Green Bay, Wisconsin is a city of 102,000, and most of them are here tonight, braving the bitter cold to see their beloved Packers. When we come back, Susie Colbert on the frozen of Lambeau Field. Well, actually, it's not frozen. It's just a lot of fun to say that. They went soft here years ago. There's a heating system under the turf, so everything's fine down there, right, Susie?
Oh, yeah. You know what, Mike? I think the only thing that's not frozen is the field, and that includes me. I mean, what were the NFL schedule makers thinking? This is the first time ever that they've had a game here at Lambeau in December at night, and that's a fact that hasn't been lost on many players. During the week, they said, we may be talking about the game, but we're thinking about the weather, and that includes the ultimate cold weather quarterback, Brett Favre, who's 33-0, and the temperature falls below 34 degrees here at Lambeau.
Yeah, it's difficult to play in, but if not you, someone else. And once you kind of get used to it, yeah, it's still cold. I don't want to ever say that I've adapted now. It doesn't bother me because it is cold, and it does affect the way you play some. I mean, I've missed throws because of it. Guys drop balls because of it. But if you can do that and keep it at a minimum as opposed to the other team, you have a better chance of winning. It evens the playing field.
Well, they've done more than even the field with the cold as their 12th man. The Packers have won 10 straight here. Now, the Vikings, they are polar opposites. They haven't won on the road in more than 2 years in any kind of condition. So this week, they had a rare outdoor practice. But, Mike, they would have to practice in a freezer to simulate these conditions.
Wouldn't they ever? Thank you, Susie. MasterCard presents ESPN Skycam, innovative technology on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Skycam provides some of the most unique and memorable images ever seen from angles no other single camera in the world can achieve. We're excited to bring it to you every Sunday night. Randy Moss has saved some of his best performances for the Packers. He has tormented Green Bay throughout his career, and Brett Favre, for all of his success, has a losing record against the Vikings. The kickoff after this. These folks are partying on a Sunday night in Green Bay, and they are right across the street from historic Lambeau Field. If you can't get a ticket, at least stand outside and get some of the ambiance.
Yeah, cold ambiance.
Susie had a great line earlier. She said polar opposites. No kidding. Polar being the operative word.
You know, we were talking about this Green Bay thing. Coming to Lambeau Field, and everybody talks about it. But I don't care that it's 0 degrees out. Just being here is exciting, and it ought to keep you warm.
Somebody asked me, what's the coldest game I ever played, and it was in Buffalo late in my career. But you know something? I was down on the field before the game. It is unbelievably cold. It is just like a refrigerator down there.
The rookie from FSU, Javon Walker, is deep. Brett Favre awaiting the opportunity to go on offense. Epstein to kick off. High and short. Walker from the 12. And struck down at the 28.
You know, it's well documented how Brett Favre likes to jaw with defensive linemen. Sapp at Tampa Bay. John Randall used to be at Minnesota and rap with him. Here he is now with Chris Hovan. Chris Hovan said to us, he says, you know, I'm not backing down. And I mentioned this in the opening. He said, I'm going to tell you something. When you get into a dogfight, I'm going to say it again. You pick out the biggest dog. He said, I'm coming after Favre because he is the biggest dog we know.
You like that sound?
Yeah, I do. I really like it. It just tells you what kind of guy Hovan is.
I'd go Chihuahua. Fisher gets the first carry, and Tony Fisher making the first start of his career.
What's going to be
Amon Green?
What's going to be important for the Green Bay Packers, I think, in this game, or anytime you handle the ball early, is just to be able to hang on to the football, and that'll go for the wide receivers as well. Donald Driver, Javon Walker, a rookie, and of course Bubba Franks, their big tight end. Another thing you think about is the exchange between quarterback and center. So anybody that's handling a ball has to really pay attention to what's going on this evening.
2nd and 6. Favre to throw for the first time. Fisher in the flat. And he's knocked out of bounds by Eric Kelly. Fisher came into the game last week when Amon Green bruised his kneecap and had an outstanding performance. 17 carries for 91 yards. That's an average of 5.4. Here is a rarity in the NFL, a free agent running back who not only made the squad but is now contributing.
From where?
Notre Dame.
Oh, you guys stop this. I'll tell you one thing about the guys, though, that play on this team. William Henderson is a fullback, and you talk about Tony Fisher. They know their roles on this football team, and that's why they're successful.
Their role right now, get a first down on 3rd and 1, and Fisher behind Henderson. Got close, but I don't know.
All right, Paul.
No, he didn't get it.
This is where you're at your best.
He's a half yard short. They don't even measure this.
And this was a problem for Green Bay in the first meeting with the Minnesota Vikings. As a matter of fact, it's the same way they started the game up in Minneapolis. And it's a big, big plus for the Vikes to be able to get their offense out on the field.
Josh Bidwell, who is 10th in the NFL in punting, will kick to Nick Davis, who waits inside the Minnesota 25-yard line. Line drive kick, and Davis fair catch just outside the 30.
Randy Moss is the man they have to get it to. Now, they had a Randy ratio earlier. I think you have to have a Randy ratio all the time. Had a good game against them in Week 11, 115 yards. But the challenge falls on the corners of Mike McKenzie and Todd McBride, the two corners. McKenzie, of course, a #1 pick. They brought him here to be able to try and defend Randy Moss. And Todd McBride is going to fill in this evening for Tyrone Williams. Both of them will have their hands full with 84. 2nd 4. 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 2nd 4.
Michael Bennett is the single setback. He needs 6 yards for his first 1,000-yard season. Culpepper throws to Moss, first down. Spins out of his tackle out to the 34-yard line. There's a marker down. Looked like Vonnie Holliday came across early defensively.
Vonnie Holliday did. And I'll tell you what, here we go again where the head coach lied to us. Mike Tice said we're going to go with 2 tight ends. They came out 4 wide.
Well, they eventually will. You can't call, after one play, you can't call him a liar.
He's a liar.
Tice in his first year.
Don't you love talking to him?
I think you'd have to define his first year as a challenging one. And I think he's done a heck of a job keeping his guys playing hard.
I do too. 1st and 5. Campbell is in there as a wide receiver. Kleinsasser, the H-back, fullback, tight end, switches to the near side. And Bennett will get his first carry. Fights his way out to the 39-yard line.
You know, Joe, one of the things about this football team, the Minnesota Vikings, and that's that man right there, Michael Bennett. I mean, he really has to perform in order for this offense to perform. Because you only really have one receiver, Randy Moss.
Yeah, they're missing a compliment to him. And, of course, Brian McKinney, the rookie tight end, or rookie tackle, they've had a lot of changeover in a short period of time on this offense.
2nd and a yard. Bennett hitting the backfield, another marker down. Nate Wayne led the charge defensively, the 5-year linebacker out of Ole Miss.
We got holding.
The Packers running a little bit short on the defensive side of the ball. Gilbert Brown's not in there. Tyrone Williams is not in there. But that's sort of been the story. Rod Walker filling in for Gilbert Brown, doing a great job. Niall Diggs coming on at the linebacker position. Hardy Nickerson finally healthy and able to play. And, of course, Antoine Edwards and Mike McKenzie were a part of a draft class here that Ron Wolf went after because of Randy Moss.
They've had a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball, making that 8-3 record even that much more remarkable. Packers come with a blitz. And the fade is complete to Dwayne Bates. Bates beat Todd McBride, who's in there for the injured Tyrone Williams, a gain of 23.
I believe that ball just flutters out of Dante's hand. You'll see it from Skycam. He tries to throw it. That ball is just hanging in the air. Terrific job of adjusting to the ball by Dwayne Bates. See, he looks back, and McBride doesn't. That's the biggest difference.
And you're also allowed to push off now in the National Football
League.
League.
If you're a wide receiver.
I see, okay. I just checking on that.
That's the rule. You have to look at that rule closely. Fine print.
1st and 10 in Packer territory for the Vikings. Culpepper tried to hit Bates again and missed him. Vonnie Holliday was putting the pressure on. Culpepper out of Central Florida. It has been a struggle for him. 13 touchdowns, but 19 interceptions, and he has been pounded when he has tried to pass like any other quarterback. When he loses people around him like Robert Smith and all the great players they've lost on their offensive line, it's going to be a struggle. This team needs a lot of help, and Mike Tyson knows it. Culpepper, good protection, then he takes off. Then throws on the run, and Moss down to the Packer 32. 1st down, Minnesota.
The thing that's
Sharper on the tackle.
Excuse me, Michael. The thing that'll surprise you a little bit about Dante's numbers is that normally a quarterback struggles when he doesn't have a running game. But with the Vikings, you've got the number 2 rushing team in football, and Michael Bennett has really stepped up. He has to do a better job of being more decisive with the football and also protecting the football. Here he steps up in the pocket, does a nice job of finding Randy Moss. This looks an awful lot like the last game in Minnesota against the Packers.
And Moss just became the first man ever to start his career with 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And Bennett going for 1,000 himself came into the game at 994. He won't get it on that carry as Nickerson and Wayne bring him down. And they will give him a yard, and he does have 1,000 in front of 25 family and friends. He played at the University of Wisconsin, and his uncle Tony was a linebacker here.
And he is one of the nicest young men you ever want to talk to.
Isn't
I'll tell you, when he left the room, you just you want to stand up. And he's the first one of the few guys that ever thanked us for inviting him down to talk to him.
Bennett off the left side this time. Breaks the tackle, running hard. Down to the 21. Let's go to Susie. More on Michael Bennett.
Well, you mentioned that he's from this area, growing up in Milwaukee, automatically acclimated to the cold, so this certainly doesn't bother him. And he said after being able to hang out in the locker room with Reggie White and Bryce Paup, Brad Noble, he said coming here and last year playing his first pro game, it sent chills up his spine. You know he's working extra hard when he's playing on this field.
Susie's lips are just about frozen. She's doing a great job down here, man. I'll tell you. Wow.
She is the warrior for this crew tonight.
Impressive opening drive for the Vikings. Bennett straight up the middle this time. Runs into some resistance. Gets about a yard. Michael Bennett grew up, of course, with roots in Green Bay. We asked him what it means to him to come to this historic field.
It's a lot of history in the stadium, and because I grew up in the stadium, basically, you know, with my uncle playing here, it's really a big thing to me to come here and perform and play my best game, you know, of the year.
And he has played well against the Minnesota Vikings in his brief career. Only had 1 year as a starting running back at Wisconsin. He'd been the backup to Ron Dane, so his best football is still in front of him. Bates makes the catch inside the 10.
What a nice play this was. They had Randy Moss in the slot on the right-hand side, and they just took him and ran him right to the outside and opened up for Bates.
Okay. Watch this. Randy Moss is going to swing out here, and then they're going to run the post inside. That linebacker is going to run right out of the way. This is a very well-conceived play. They ran the quick screen the last time to Moss. This time they fake it and hit the post in behind it.
We have a player down on the field. We'll check on him when we come back to Green Bay. Scoreless first quarter at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, but the Vikings are driving. They have reached the Packer 9-yard line. Niall Diggs was the injured player, had the wind knocked out of him. He will be back.
Vikings have been a pretty darn proficient team in the red area getting touchdowns.
Oops. Movement early, and Bennett will be stopped as they blow the play dead.
Everybody went but the center. He's the guy that knows the count. Corbin Lucina, the left guard, he was gone.
Prior to the snap, false start, right guard on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Tied for most in the NFL with penalties this year, 9.1 a game. And when your talent has been reduced the way the Vikings have had, you can't afford the penalties.
And Niall Diggs is back in the game.
First and goal now from the 14. Batted up in the air and incomplete. And it looked like Cledius Hunt, who is their leading tackler on the D-line, got the hand up and batted it away.
You know, the one thing about on that play there, they did bat the ball down. Hunt got it. But if you take a look, this offensive line has given him some time. What happened that time, he just threw the ball too low.
I think Dante Culpepper here has to be smart with the football. If you don't like what you see, throw it away.
Draw play, not much. Down to the 12 goes Bennett, but Niall Diggs, who was out briefly, comes back to make the tackle.
I never understand that play. You're down in you got to score. You're on the 13 or 14 yard line, and you bring the back into the backfield so they know exactly where he is, and then you hand him the ball on a draw.
I agree with you, Paul, and especially down here where the linebackers can't get any depth to get into pass coverage so that you can pick and choose. I think you're better off faking it, getting him to come up, maybe hit a wide receiver behind it.
Now 3rd and goal. This will be the 11th play of the drive. Good protection for Culpepper. Moss at the 6. Moss to the 5, but that will bring up 4th down.
I think these are good, positive calls. It's a nice job. Todd McBride making the play. It's a good job by Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. Just get a safe play. You got your quarterback going. You have positive things happening. Take the safe throw. Give Gary Anderson a chance to put you up 3 points. In the previous game against the Packers, Vikings went down, scored both times. They had the ball the first time in the game, so this one's starting out just like the other.
And now the most prolific field goal kicker in NFL history will have a chance from 23 yards out, and as usual, he is perfect. Impressive drive for the Vikings, and they take a 3-0 lead in Lambeau. Pepsi only at Pizza Hut. See participating stores for details. And Mazda, log on to Enhanced TV at ESPN.com for a chance to win a Mazda 6 sports sedan and other great prizes.
Now, there's something we need in the booth.
I was looking for some wood furniture. I was looking to break up some furniture before for us.
There is no other place like it. Green Bay, Wisconsin. 65-yard drive for the Vikings after they forced a Green Bay punt, and they take a 3-0 lead.
I still don't think the Packers want to abandon any type of a running game.
Javon Walker from the 5. Gets to the outside, turns the corner to the 25-yard line. There's a flag down on the play.
Javon Walker on the return. Flag on the play.
They keep moving that flag up. They threw it about the 35. Now it's inside the 30.
And it will go against the Packers,
which will take the ball inside the 20.
Holding, 89. Return team, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Robert Ferguson, one of the wide receivers, called for a hold, and we have a timeout in Green Bay. Brett Favre needs a field goal to catch up. Here's some ladies admitting it on national television. I think it might get back to their husbands. This is more fun than shopping.
You don't think they don't know they're here in Green Bay? I mean, what is half? How much of the population? More than half.
120,000 here.
More than half are here.
Yeah. Especially on a Sunday night.
Favre under 500 against the Vikings. He has dominated everyone else. They start from the 15. Flag is down. Favre throws the completion to Javon Walker, and that will probably come back.
Well, Favre isn't moving.
Brett Favre plays quarterback, of course, with a linebacker mentality. In the first meeting with the Vikings, he mixed it up with Chris Hovan, the defensive tackle. Then later, after throwing an interception, he was flagged and later fined for a late hit out of bounds. He will go after anybody.
Well, not anybody.
Yes, anybody.
Because after Warren Sapp,
if he gets provoked, he will definitely defend his turf.
1st and 15. Fisher, the deep man in the eye, and he gets the toss. Fisher out to the 13. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, guys, Brett knows that trash talking isn't the typical practice of NFL quarterbacks. He just admits they're doing the smart thing and he can't walk away. And in a case like Hovan, he's usually saying something like, turn around so I can see your jersey, so I can see who you are, or you'll be watching us in the playoffs, followed by the appropriate expletive. And then he said it's on, and from there, he's just having fun.
Has a passion for the game. 2nd and 12. Draw play. Fisher, room to run. 25, 30, 34-yard line. Tony Fisher.
Well, I tell you, I just stand there and watch. I was watching Chris Hovan come down the line of scrimmage, and he basically, watch number 99, down the line of scrimmage. He almost takes himself out of the play. William Henderson nails him.
Number 33 is going to come. Watch the left of your screen. William Henderson on the double team, and you see Tony Fisher hit it up straight up the chute. And that's really the way you have to run, I think, in this kind of temperature. You can't be juking and trying to go left and right. You need to go north and south.
Favre play fake this time. Tries to hit Fisher down the sideline, incomplete. When Fisher was at Notre Dame, he played his final year with 2 really bad hamstrings. It hurt his draft status. And then when they watched tape of him after he signed here, running back coach Sly Crooms questioned not only his ability, but his toughness. And it took a while for them to find out when this kid's healthy, he's got ability and he's tough.
When I was down on the field before the game, I ran into Sly, and he said, I told him to his face I didn't think he was tough. He's proven he is.
Sometimes that's all you have to do.
Favre line drives this one to Tyrone Davis, the tight end.
I'm going to tell you what, this was a bullet. This was a bullet. Tyrone Davis had to catch this ball because it stuck him. Watch this throw. Now that's a bullet, folks. Bam!
You know what? I think that might have gone off his chest had the defender not moved into it. Watch this ball. Goes right through his hands, and Williams actually stops it from being an incompletion.
And then they knock him forward for the first down.
Favre is legendary for breaking the fingers of his wide receivers and tight ends. Little shovel pass, Fisher, nothing doing. The Vikings did a great job of smelling that one out. Lance Johnstone, the first one there to make the stop. Minnesota playing well right now.
In the first game, the defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings really controlled the tempo. Chris Hovan and Fred Robbins, the 2 interior guys, really put a lot of pressure on Brett Favre. They got around his feet and made it uncomfortable for him. Wound up, as you pointed out, Paulie, in the open, 3 interceptions in that game.
2nd and 14. The defense has played better, particularly the last 3 weeks after a lot of changes by the coaching staff, moving people around. And Favre had that one slip out of his hands. Hovan is after it, and Hovan pounces on it at the 30, Vikings ball.
Boy, this is the thing you concern yourself with. Brett Favre refuses to wear a glove. He's never worn a glove. The ball is slick. You can see how shiny it is. He'll start the motion, and this thing comes out. It's gone.
Well, he sees the blitz, Joe, on the outside by Corey Chavis, and he's coming in number 21, so he has to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and that's when the ball came out.
What a great effort by Hovan to fight through a Packer and get to that football. Big break for Minnesota.
Minnesota coming out and going no huddle.
First down from the 30. Bennett is the setback behind Culpepper. Bennett off the right side, cracks the seam and picks up 6 yards.
You know, the one thing that we talked to both coaches about going into this game was it was imperative to be able to run the football. If you can't run the football on a night like tonight, as cold as it is, you cannot win the football game.
And I believe also when you've got an offensive line the size of the Minnesota Vikings, you got David Dixon at 360, Chris Lewinsky at 321, McKinney at a small house, 74. I mean, the advantage has to be with the Minnesota Vikings pounding it up against the Packers.
Culpepper in the shotgun, plenty of time, and throws. Bates, another catch. He's down to the 10. Dwayne Bates, the free agent from the Chicago Bears.
Dwayne Bates only had 30 catches coming into this game. That's less than half of what Randy Moss's 79 was. He's already got 3, and he's the guy that's taking pressure. Here comes a late blitz by Marquez Anderson, number 20, and vacates the area where Bates makes the play.
3 catches, 48 yards for Bates.
Culpepper doesn't have a glove on.
He's 260.
Culpepper to Bates again, and Bates inside the 5. Stopped by Todd McBride, and Culpepper just doesn't seem to be bothered by the elements at all. He's off to a great start.
He just really feels comfortable. He does. You know, he felt comfortable when he walked in the meeting yesterday. He just seemed like he was calmed down. First of all, I guess when you're out of the playoffs, it makes a little bit of a difference.
It does, but you're also playing for pride in the job. And ever since he got benched, the 3 games after that, he's played a lot better.
Said he looked at the film. He was so tentative he couldn't believe it was him. Culpepper under pressure this time. Throws for the corner. Moss, touchdown. Mike McKenzie could not stay with the fleet Randy Moss.
Mike, the one thing that Randy Moss does on this play is he just breaks to the outside, and as soon as he clears McKenzie, his hand is in the air. Look at this throw and catch. I mean, that is absolutely perfect. There's no way to defend against that.
What a job by Dante Culpepper, and he knows it. This game looks exactly like the game up in Minneapolis when the Vikes jumped out big.
Anderson with the point after. And Minnesota having everything go its way in the first quarter. The fumble leads to the game's first touchdown. Against the Packers, he might have caught Jerry Rice by now. 10 games against Green Bay. He's approaching 1,000 yards, nearly 20 yards a catch against the Packers.
Well, we talked about that draft in now at 99. After Randy Moss torched him, Ron Wolf went out and said, we need corners. Went out and drafted 1, 2, and 3, I believe, were draft picks, corners, to try and do something to Randy. They still haven't solved the problem.
There aren't too many people who cause that kind of reaction in a draft. Walker spins across the 25.
Walker on the return. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the
Brett Favre undefeated when it's under 34 degrees at Lambeau. Believe me, it's under 34.
The all-new 220 horsepower Mazda 6. A true sports sedan, perfectly composed. Drive it, you'll know.
Welcome back to Green Bay. The Packers have the ball, but they're down 10-0 to the Vikings. Favre trying to keep those hands warm. Already had one slip out of his hand for a disastrous fumble that led to the touchdown. Fisher on the draw, and Greg Biekert met him in the hole. In 1954, Paul Bear Bryant took 115 football players into the drought-ridden desert of Junction, Texas. Only 35 would survive to play for him. ESPN Original Entertainment presents the Junction Boys, Saturday, December 14th at 9 Eastern on ESPN. That immediately follows the Heisman Trophy presentation at 8. And Bear Bryant went on to lead Alabama to 6 national championships. Favre to throw, looking for Driver. There is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. A 44-yard gain, will it stand? And Driver is grabbing a hamstring and his stomach.
I believe this is going to go against the Pack. It's going to be a legal procedure.
Wipes out a huge play.
Boy, they caught Brian Williams, the rookie corner, peeking.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what it does. You're looking at, you lose Driver, and Terry Glenn is not playing tonight.
You said Javon Walker.
Javon Walker limped off after the kickoff return. I mean, they have nobody left.
Illegal formation on the offense. The wide receiver had covered up the tight end, making him ineligible. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And Driver, who is their best receiver this year, virtually came out of nowhere. And here's how he got hurt.
Actually looks like he falls down on his elbow. He's trying to hold his balance, and he slips and falls. And once you get off the field, the ground gets real hard.
This one's tipped in the air and intercepted.
Beekert.
Greg Beekert at the 24-yard line, his 4th interception of the season.
3 of them against the Green Bay Packers.
And Favre can't believe it's happening to him again. That's the end of the first quarter, and the Vikings are on top 10 with trailing the Minnesota Vikings here at home, Joe.
You look at the way Brett Favre has started out 3 for 5, but the interception, and you say to yourself, is that really his fault? Well, you know, there's Corey Chavis right in the middle right there. Watch what happens. Brett Favre tries to hit Javon Walker coming from the right side. Goes right through his hands, bounces off of Corey Chavis. Greg Beekert, ever alert, got the interception. As a matter of fact, it's almost the same way he picked it off in the first. I hate to keep going back to the first game, but this is a mirror image of it. Greg Beekert had the first interception in that one as well.
It's like an instant replay.
Or a nightmare if you're a Packer.
Culpepper, no pressure at all. Bennett in the flat makes a nice move to get away from the first man down to the 17-yard line. In that first game, the Vikings beat the Packers 31-21. Culpepper threw for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Brett Favre was picked off 3 different times. Michael Bennett ran for 130 yards, including a 62-yard scamper that set up the Packers' final touchdown.
That second Beekert interception looked like the one he just had.
Yeah.
Off of somebody up the hands and up in the air, and he goes after it.
Deja vu all over again.
2nd and 4. Culpepper on the keeper. And the 260-pound quarterback has a first down at the 10.
I think that this is the perfect way to allow Dante Culpepper to stay in a game. I think he has to run with the football. The most carries he had in a season coming into actually this year coming into this game was against the Green Bay Packers when he carried the ball 10 times. He's a big guy. He likes to pound people, and it really keeps him focused, I think. 5.3 yards a carry.
3rd in the league in rushing for quarterbacks. Bennett, nice hole off the right side. Sharper whacks him as he got to the 5.
Let me just go back, and we're looking at in Packer territory again. There were 26 plays run in the first quarter. 24 of them were run in Packer territory.
Ooh.
I mean, they have dominated this football game. It's obvious.
And it looks like the second quarter is going the same way.
Yeah, sure
Makes
does.
you wonder who's 9-3, who's 3-9. Packers, of course, defensively missing Gilbert Brown and Tyrone Williams tonight. Culpepper looks for Bates. Incomplete. McBride was with him stride for stride on that one.
People, I think, forget that Dante Culpepper is really just in his 3rd year. And he's got a lot to grow and go. That time he held the ball, he double pumped. You start double clutching down around the goal line, there's a defensive back or a linebacker is going to get in the way and pick it off. He's going to react and learn and continue to grow. He came on with such a storm a couple years ago going to the Pro Bowl. Now he's settling in and has to continue to grow.
3rd and goal. Culpepper under pressure and throws it away.
That was Nigel Diggs.
And that was a good decision.
Excuse me, Nile Diggs.
And that's a pretty good stand for that Packer defense to force a field goal and make it a 13-0 game instead of 17.
Well, and I also think when you're down on the goal line like that in the red zone, come on after him. I mean, they've got a short distance to go, so send your linebackers. And you see Nile Diggs there, number 59. He's in his face.
Well,
made it through the ball away.
Harold Morrill, number 33, did a bad job of trying to cut the end and protect him.
Anderson from 22. Give him 2 on the night. And the Minnesota Vikings have enjoyed a 2-turnover advantage, including Greg Beekert's interception, and they lead at 13-0. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Microsoft, makers of software for the agile business. MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. and eBay, the world's online marketplace. This is the Green Bay Botanical Gardens. Over 150,000 lights, setting up a winter wonderland during the holiday season.
Here's a winter wonderland.
Little cheese tree.
Tell you what, these people have to be well insulated tonight. And back at our hotel, the guys in the room next to me started getting insulated around noon today.
Got that antifreeze running.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Packers have to come up with some solution to their offense.
Don't turn it over. Javon Walker from the 10. And can only make the 27. Nice tackle by Jim Nelson. So far, Favre with an interception and a fumble, and his club's down by 13. If you just joined us, the Packers have turned it over twice. The Vikings have taken advantage, and they lead it 13-0. Second quarter from Lambeau Field. The Packers need a win to stay in the hunt for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Favre and throws to the tight end of the Miami, Bubba Franks.
Brett Favre has struggled against the Green Bay Packers, and tonight has been no different. This one just comes out of his hand trying to pick up the blitz. Chris Hovan with the recovery, tries to hit Javon Walker off of Corey Chavis. Greg Beager comes up with his third interception against the Pack, and he only has 4. I think the Packers have to be careful that they don't get impatient like they did in the first game. Still have to run the football.
And they do with Fisher, who's in there for the injured Amon Green. A hard run by Fisher out to the 42. Susie, I noticed Donald Driver is back on the field for Green Bay.
Well, talk about tough. Joe is exactly right. When he got tossed out of bounds, he landed hard on the part of the turf that isn't heated, and it is hard as concrete. Landed on that right elbow. They took him in to check to see if his elbow was broken. Took x-rays. They were negative, and he is back in the game.
Susie probably wouldn't know because it's still frozen.
First down, Green Bay. Fisher out to the 45. Anytime Donald Driver does something well, if you know his history, you can't help but feel happy for him. He is a very nice young man. At the age of 13, his family was so fractured and he was in so much trouble. He and his brother lived in a U-Haul and sold drugs just to try to stay alive. Then he was robbed by a man he considered a friend, thought he was going to be killed. Driver has come from absolutely the worst circumstances in the world and is on the verge of being an NFL star. Franks, who is their short yardage specialist, not going to get downfield for you a whole lot. And the other thing about Driver is he comes here. This is his 4th year with the Green Bay Packers. They have ignored him, tried to replace him, brought in guy after guy after guy, and all at once they find this prize under their nose.
But the one thing about him, though, in all of that time he was here, the one guy that was really in this corner most of the time, all of the time, was Brett Favre.
And I think he's on his way to the Pro Bowl. He's that good a receiver.
Playing with a broken finger, he says as long as he's catching passes from Brett Favre, it's not going to heal. And Fisher lowers his shoulder and dives, should have the first down.
He does.
This is what the Green Bay Packers need to do. They need to just patiently be able to run the football. In the first game against the Vikings, Brett Favre started throwing it around. Chris Hovan and Fred Robbins, the 2 tackles, started bringing pressure and forced mistakes. As long as the Pack's able to run the football, they'll be able to control that secondary of the Vikings.
They are 6-0 at home. They've had to come from behind virtually every time. Favre keeping the play alive and then throws. Driver wide open, looking for a block. Makes a cut, makes another cut, and had his legs taken out from under him at the 33 by Lemansky Hall.
You don't want to know vintage Favre. I mean, when you wonder why this guy is one of the great players in football today, just watch what he's doing here. Look at here. Now he's got to move back to his left. Driver's all the way back to his right. Not many guys will make that throw or should even think about making this throw. But he's all the way back to his left, and then he sees Driver. Watch the throw.
Oh, that's pretty. Packers at the 32. Driver. Nice cut off of a block. Driver all the way, or Fisher all the way to the 21-yard line.
You got to be careful a little bit here with Tony Fisher. Does a nice job. Good job up front. Nice job, Marco Rivera, the guard. Mike Wall, the tackle, doing a good job up front. You got to be a little careful with him. He's might be a little bit tired. Good move bringing him to the sidelines. Let him catch his breath.
Graham is the deep man in the eye. Favre play fakes to him. Then dumps it underneath down to about the 19-yard line. Graham made the catch. Lemanski Hall made the tackle.
Minnesota Vikings defensively in the early part of the year, actually until about 3 games ago, were just in a mess. And they finally took Corey Chavis, who was a starting corner, and moved him to strong safety, and moved up Ronnie Bradford ahead of Jack Brewer, a rookie, and gave him some stability at the corner, at the safety position, and let Eric Kelly and Brian Williams go play. They finally haven't made changes in the last 3 weeks, and they're playing a lot better.
And I think Chavis has a chance to be a star at safety, either free or strong safety. Graham hit at the line of scrimmage, falls forward just inside the 15-yard line. Ronnie Bradford on the stop.
You know, we saw the throw and the things that Favre does, though. Here's a guy that's down 13 points. He's made a couple of mistakes. The ball comes out of his hand. But have you ever, in all of the years that Favre's been playing, have you ever seen him walk around with his head down?
No.
Never. I mean, he will never let this team know that they're not in the ball game.
11 straight seasons with 3,000 yards. And body language, I think, is a big part of playing the position of quarterback, Paul.
Big third down for the Packers. Favre goes to the shotgun. Driver can't get it. Got one hand on it.
Boy, he wants pass interference in the worst way.
Tyrone Carter was back there with him.
Look at Brett. Brett's pleading his case. I asked Brett about his throwing style, and he basically said it was unorthodox. He never sets his feet. He said, you know, I always throw going backwards, and he throws very accurately. And you look at Carter and Driver both holding on to one another, and Driver wanted a flag.
Ryan Longwell will come on to try a 33-yard field goal. Splits the uprights, and Green Bay gets on the board with 6:43 to go in the first half of play. Now it's 13-3 from Lambeau Field. Lead at 13-3 over the Packers.
You want to know what Driver was complaining about? Look at Carter's left hand grab Driver's right hand. He's holding his hand. He can't get his arm up, and that's what he was complaining about. Look at, he can't get his arm up to make the catch.
Come on, let's go for a little walk through the park.
Driver nearly made the one-hand circus catch. James Wofford on the return. And Culpepper will go back to work. He's been very efficient so far tonight. What does that outfit make you think of?
I think I'm sitting in a big giant duck blind.
Duck, duck.
I'm just waiting for a whole flock to come over. I mean, I haven't seen this much camouflage since I went to one of those big old outdoor shops. It's unbelievable. Look at that.
And they're not happy.
Vikings start from their own 28. Culpepper wants to change the play.
Has plenty of time to do it.
Excellent protection, and he lost the ball. Just what Favre did earlier.
All right, why isn't he wearing a glove?
Because these guys don't feel like they need it. You know, you'll see him. Look at him massage the ball. I don't care how big your hands are. The ball is slick. You can see the shininess. He just can't grip it.
Don't you love the look in his eyes?
Yeah.
Looking back.
He's
Whoa.
shocked. But at least he has the awareness to go back and get it. Look, it just comes right out.
That is the 16th time this year Culpepper has fumbled. He's lost 7 of them.
It gets you thinking, too, the next time you handle the ball.
Here they come.
Packers show blitz. Culpepper changing the play. Bennett couldn't hear it. Now Culpepper with a short set. The throw's incomplete. That one didn't work at all. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, despite all of Dante Culpepper's struggles this season, his teammates contend he remains the #1 leader on this team. He never shies away from talking to the media. He plays with passion, and when you look in his eyes, you know he's sincere. And they say they have full confidence in him. They believe when he is on the field, they have a chance to win, despite everything, even things you've seen here tonight.
Susie, he is a stand-up kid. He had a chance to go to any number of big schools after he had committed to Central Florida verbally. Then he got his grades. Everyone came after him, and he said, no, I made the commitment. I'm going to Central Florida.
You go after him again.
Culpepper takes off. And Gabir Bajabiamila caught him from behind and made the tackle.
Well, since you called his name, now I can call him KGB.
That's
because
right.
He said we're allowed to call him KGB. What a wonderful guy this is. And I'll tell you, you talk about hustle. Look at this guy. Around McKinney on the outside. Now watch him. He just doesn't quit. Strong hands, pulls down Culpepper with one hand.
Only 255.
Kyle Richardson will punt. Darian Gordon, the veteran, is back at the 40.
Shanked it.
Gordon on the run at the 46 and forced out of bounds at the 47. And it's amazing that KGB is on the field at all tonight. He went through the most amazing range of emotions last Sunday. His first child was born early Sunday morning. Then he went and played, and that night he found out his mother had been killed in an automobile accident in Los Angeles. So in less than 24 hours, he has a new child and loses his mother. It's just hard to imagine what he must have gone through.
And Brett Favre and a group of the guys got a private plane for him to get out, so it would be easier for him to get out to his mother's funeral and get back to his baby and his wife.
And they would have understood completely if he did not play this week, but he wanted to come back and do it. And that ball floated on Favre as he tried to hit Tony Fisher.
And it was interesting when we had a chance to talk to him on Friday. KGB really said that he needed to get back and he needed to get going and he needed to play. And I really think that a football team is a family. And when you have adversity in your life, some of the best places to go are with all the guys that care about you, an extended family like this football team is. And Mike Sherman is a great coach. We saw how he cared about Chad Clifton in the Tampa game and what he did to defend his players.
Clifton, by the way, is on injured reserve finally, and we wish Chad Clifton the best. We hope he has a complete recovery from that pelvic injury. Fisher gets to midfield. John Stone on the tackle. Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. Then on ABC at 9, Brian Urlacher and the Bears go against Ricky Williams and the Dolphins.
Boy, without Brian Urlacher, that Chicago defense will probably struggle. And Ricky's having a great year. Picking up steam, headed for 1,500.
We could use some steam right now. 3rd and 8. What a catch by Ferguson.
No, they're not going to call it a catch.
Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yes, they are.
Eric Kelly was all over it. Ferguson made a sensational catch, and that is a typical Brett Favre throw. You've got the size of a bread box to fit it through, and zing.
Did he make it, Paulo?
They got to get to the 42-yard line. If they're not on the 42-yard line, they don't make it.
Come on, Hawkeye.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. I want these guys to get out of my way.
Yeah, but watch the throw. Look at him rocket this. Look at that catch. Now, keep in mind, he only played 1 year of college football.
Well, if they mark that ball right there, he doesn't make it.
Guy only played 1 year. Still very raw talent. Drafted in the 2nd round a year ago out of A&M, Texas A&M. So you say that he did not make it?
Well, I said if they mark it, we're...
Oh, my goodness. The frozen eyeball.
We'll forgive you.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that is an excellent mark, because what Ferguson did with the ball is after he caught it, he flipped, when the whistle blew, he threw the ball up in the air.
Mike Sherman now in his third year. Succeeded Ray Rhodes and succeeded Ron Wolf as the general manager of this club. It was a job he almost didn't take. Been on Mike Holmgren's staff in Seattle for a year. From the 43, Fisher on the sweep. Got a block down, back down to the 36. Sherman had been on Mike Holmgren's staff here in Green Bay. Then when Mike went to Seattle, he went with him, got the call, didn't want to move his family back that quickly, but came to do the interview with Ron Wolf. And Ron Wolf said he was so impressed because the guy had laid out the practice schedule for the entire year before he went to the interview. Marty Schottenheimer was scheduled to come in the next day. He called and said, Marty, we've got our guy. 2nd and 4. Fisher shoved back, gang tackle. Corey Chavis finished it off from the safety spot after the initial stop was made by Lemansky Hall.
As cold as it is, the only two guys that have fumbled the ball so far have been the two quarterbacks. The running backs and the receivers are holding on to everything.
Because they get to hold it in their arms.
But yeah, that's right. You don't get to hold it in your fingers. You know, one other thing about Mike Sherman, and I make this point, the incident with Warren Sapp, Mike was very upset that people thought that he used a profane word, and he did not. All he said to Warren was "you." That's all he said to him.
End around to Driver. Favre is in front, throws a block. Driver to the 15-yard line.
Oh, did he accelerate?
Do you know that the block is it on Lemansky Hall, number 55? If Favre doesn't make this, Driver gets tackled. Favre tied Lemansky Hall up long enough so that Driver can make it. Watch Favre. Look at number 4 on Lemansky Hall. Bang! He didn't knock him on the ground, but you can see the miss there.
Oh,
that's why.
Quarterbacks, great blockers.
He's a football player.
That's
first.
right. And he took the right leg out. He took the correct leg out on the block, too. So Lemansky Hall couldn't come through and make the play.
Favre, yeah.
We talked about Dante Culpepper running with the ball to get into it. Brett has to block to get into it.
1st and 10 Green Bay, their second consecutive solid-looking drive. And now Favre throws to the corner, incomplete, intended for Ferguson at the 5. Tried a little sleight of hand there.
You wouldn't think a guy that has trouble holding on to the football is going to do some of this stuff. This is a fake under screen. There they go with the pitch. He fakes it to William Henderson. Then he comes out to make the throw like it's a warm, sunny day to Robert Ferguson.
And is there anybody you've ever seen running to his left that can throw the ball that well?
Yeah, Michael Vick.
He's left-handed.
Well, he's left-handed.
You asked.
Oh, you know, I'm sorry. I'll learn to phrase them better.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Thank you so much. Excellent point, though. Over the middle, this one's complete down to the 5-yard line. A strike to Walker. Jack Brewer saved the touchdown, but it should be enough for a first down.
It is a first down, and we're going to get to the 2-minute warning.
So without Amon Green and without Terry Glenn, Brett Favre getting it done.
Well, look how quick the ball comes out. I mean, the defensive man doesn't have a chance.
He throws it backwards. He throws it actually falling backward.
Favre finally with a smile on his face as the Packers offense has caught fire. Minute mark, but Green Bay driving 1st and goal just inside the 5. This offensive line has had multiple injuries, and veteran Frank Winters has stepped in at center. Veteran Earl Dotson has stepped in at right tackle, and they have done yeoman duty. Fisher. Nice block by Henderson, and Fisher to the goal line.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Henderson just nails Greg Beaker in the hole. William Henderson, you know, came in and talked to us yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and he says, I know my role. I am not going to be carrying the ball, but I will be blocking. Look at that block. William Henderson just knows what his job is. Here he comes, 33 on 54. Beaker gets him out of the hole, and they almost score.
Inches away, 2nd down. Fisher stuffed, and Favre nearly fell down coming out from under center. They were lucky that wasn't a missed exchange. Biekert got great penetration in the middle.
Greg Biekert really holds this defense together. You had Corey Chavis at the safety position and Greg Biekert as a middle linebacker. Look at him slide, finds the hole, and then aggressively goes after Tony Fisher instead of letting him be able to blow him back into the end zone.
Biekert, the longtime Raider, led them in tackles every year. Leads this club in tackles, 120 coming in.
Got to go play action here.
3rd and goal. Favre does little shovel pass to the tight end, Tyrone Davis, and he did not make it, not even close. Hovan was right there. That's an unusual call.
The clock's ticking down. 4th and goal.
They're going to go for a field goal here.
There's the movement. Tyrone Davis comes across, but you see Chris Hovan right there, 98 Fred Robbins, the 2 interior guys blowing up the play.
They'll let the clock run down and then take a timeout, give them enough time for the field goal. Coming up at the half, the Kia halftime show, Chris Berman will be along with the fastest 3 minutes in television, our big sticks, and a showdown in the AFC West between Oakland and San Diego. Chris Berman and the Kia halftime show coming up in just a moment. Longwell, who has already made one from 33, will come on and try one of about 19 yards. And the Packers' offense certainly perked up the last 2 possessions.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to give the Minnesota Vikings a lot of credit down on that goal line. They had a lot of shots at it from 1 yard out and didn't get there.
Doug Peterson, the backup quarterback, is the holder for Ryan Longwell. High snap, got it down, and Longwell put it through. So Green Bay gets within a touchdown on a pair of Longwell field goals after the Vikings had jumped out to a 13-0 lead over Mike Sherman and his crew. Let's get down to Susie with Mike Tice.
Mike, your guys got off to a great start. What was the biggest difference between the first quarter and the second quarter?
Well, we just didn't get anything going in the running game consistently in the second quarter. We didn't have as many opportunities. They held the ball longer on us. When we got down inside the 5-yard line, we needed to punch it in and get touchdowns against these guys.
How are you guys handling the conditions?
Conditions are fine. It's not bothering us at all.
Thanks, Coach. Mike?
Thank you, Susie. Our score here at Lambeau Field, the Vikings 13, the Packers 6. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Yeah, a little chilly at Lambeau. What a surprise, a night game in December. At any rate, the Packers know that they're the first team to have clinched a playoff berth. There were 3 games here in Week 14 that had the 2 top teams in their respective divisions going head-to-head, including a huge one at the new Sombrero. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, first place by a half game in the NFC South over Atlanta, who hadn't lost since October 6th against Tampa. And they're at it again. That defense, which is ranked the best, has given up the fewest points by far, and Dexter Jackson with the pick off the Vic tip. Brad Johnson, 4 touchdown passes. The Bucs, certainly thus far at Michael Vick's number, 34-10 Tampa Bay. First and second in the AFC South. Peyton Manning, first time back in the Volunteer State. And after the Titans had an early lead, a rare drop from Marvin Harrison. Next play, break up by Lance Shoulders. Good defense, hard-hitting Tennessee. They're tied for first, but they swept the Colts 27-17. They're both 8-5. Titans have won 7 of 8. Drew Bledsoe back in Foxborough. We'll watch Tom Brady work his magic again. 17-0 Patriots over the Bills in the first quarter. 4 times. Drew Bledsoe was picked off. 27-17, the Patriots rolling as they did last year at this time. Broncos and Jets, both teams a game out in their respective divisions. The loser would be in trouble. Chad Pennington, Lavernius Coles rolls in touchdown. Brian Greasy picked off by Quickstraw McGraw. Win 19-13. A return for the ages. College quarterback and Clemson return man Woodrow Tiny Dantzler for Dallas. How does he escape? And how does he tiptoe down the sidelines and through the tulips? 84 yards. Cowboys lead the Niners 20-17. But Jeff Garcia throwing over 50 times to Terrell Owens. The Niners have won the NFC West for Steve Mariucci. 31-27. They host the Pack next week. The Eagles win no matter, even if Jaws is playing quarterback these days. Deuce Staley, 100 yards. Phillies, 10-3 like Tampa. They win in Seattle 27-20. Nice season for Tiki Barber. 1,000-yard season. All-purpose yards up there. 43-yard run for the Giants against the Skins. They win 27-20 when they could be the outsider that's staying alive to try to get in the playoff hunt. Tommy Maddox back after missing 2.5 games. Picked off 3 times. Twice for TDs by Aaron Glenn. Fumbled one for a touchdown. Shocker of the day. Texans over the Steelers 24-6. Expansion. Houston has won 4 times. End of game. Tim Couch. Hail Mary. Prayer answered by Quincy Morgan. Browns win at Jacksonville 21-20. They're just a half behind the Steelers. Back in the hunt. You saw them here last Sunday. The New Orleans Saints. They move ahead of Atlanta, second behind Tampa now. Deuce McAllister, 3 TDs, 37-25, Saints in Baltimore. Dante Hall, a kick and punt return for the Kansas City Chiefs as Dick Vermeil laid one on his old team. The St. Louis Rams 49-10, 2 straight weeks. The Chiefs have scored 49. Lions and Cardinals had to go to overtime. Bill Gramatica, good. Cards win on the 21st overtime game this year, tied an NFL record. Steve Smith, another one of those seeing double on this day. He's had a troubled season, but on the field today against the hapless Bengals, Steve Smith, 2 returns. Panthers 52-31 over Cincinnati, who's 2-1 just once.
This halftime show is presented by Kia Motors, makers of a full line of quality cars backed by a 10-year warranty program.
When we return, the game of the day, there it is at the Chargers for first in the AFC West. And big sticks, including we honor a Packer great.
Whoa! Hey, stop the music. Guys, everyone stop. We don't need all this. Kias are already a great value, so we got good deals on top of good deals here. Like $2,000 cash back on a Spectra and $1,000 cash back on Rio. Plus our 10-year warranty. What is that?
It's a sales monkey.
Kia is simply a good deal sales event through January 2nd.
This is Matt Burke of the Minnesota Vikings. Matt helps the United Way build stronger communities by supporting educational programs developed to help kids succeed. Matt went to Harvard.
Where does lightning come from?
Well, first we must understand the nature of atoms. Atoms are made up of positively charged protons and uncharged neutrons. This dynamic is called the electromagnetic force.
Well, doesn't it come from the sky?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Matt Burke. He went to Harvard.
I don't care who your daddy is. I don't care what the last coach promised you. Now we're going to work.
He turned boys
Well, that's how it's done.
into players.
You damn near killed my friend!
He ain't quitting.
He turned players
You want the fame without sweat.
into champions.
Not in this team.
Tom Berenger as Paul Bear Bryant, the Junction Boys. Saturday at 9 p.m. on ESPN. Welcome back to the Kia Halftime Show with your host, Chris Berman.
Surprise at the half, the Vikings lead at Lambeau 13-6. They'll play the Super Bowl in San Diego in 7 weeks. We figure we get a jump start at the Murph as the 8-4 Oakland Raiders went in to play the 8-4 San Diego Chargers. Battle of first place team in the AFC West. And as always, Raider fans buy up a lot of tickets for this game. Coming down Highway 5, scaring everybody. Drew Brees, picked off by Rod Woodson 67 times. He's done this in his career. The Raider defense did what few have done this year and what they couldn't do earlier this year when San Diego won in overtime. Stop with Daniel Tomlinson. On 4th and 1, look at 4 Raiders in the picture. Put him for a 3-yard loss. LT at just 57 yards. This just in. Rich Gannon having an MVP season. This just in. Now that he's 40, Jerry Rice actually might be good. Jeez. 7 catches, 113, nothing changes. Zach Crockett, king of the Wild Frontier, touchdown, 20-7, Raiders in the 3rd. Gannon to rookie tight end Doug Jolly. Not the Jolly Roger, but the Jolly Raider. He had 104 yards receiving. Gannon to Rice. Gannon is so precise. 9 yards. And for the 10th time this season, Rich Gannon has had a 300-yard day. More on that in a moment. Tyrone Wheatley polished off the Chargers. They win at 27-7. And Gannon.
But our most important concern right now is our record, and we're just trying to make it through this tough AFC West. It was a big win for us today. Next 3 weeks, every game's going to be a playoff game for us. And we just got to survive. We make it through the month of December, I feel like we have a good chance.
So he's now the record holder for most 300-yard games in a season, and at 4,205 yards passing, he needs to average under 300 a game for his last 3 to break Dan Marino's single-season mark for passing yards, also set in that magical 84 season. Next week, Arizona at St. Louis, or I should say Cardinals at St. Louis, has a better ring. That's our game next Sunday at 8:30 following NFL prime time. We've got a surprise on our hands, and cold hands, to be honest with you. 13-6, the Vikes lead at the Pack. We'll be back.
Watch Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, delivered by UPS.
Whoa! Hey, stop the music. Guys, everyone stop. We don't need all this. Kias are already a great value, so we got good deals on top of good deals here.
Like $2,000 cash back on a Spectra and $1,000 cash back on Rio.
Plus our 10-year warranty. What is that?
It's a sales monkey.
Kia is simply a good deal sales event through January 2nd.
This halftime show is presented by Kia Motors, makers of a full line of quality cars backed by a 10-year warranty program.
Let's see, Big Sticks, Lambeau Field. Yeah, there's only one guy, number 66, Ray Nitschke. He manned the middle linebacking spot like you've never seen before. That's the great Jim Brown going down. It's Mel Farr of Detroit, and against the Raiders, Ray Nitschke was a monster. The late Ray Nitschke, one of the greats of all time at any position. Some big sticks from today. There were a couple in the Detroit-Arizona game, believe it or not. That's the Swami's cousin Kwame Lassiter with a hit. Indy Kalu, forget the punt block. Let's just get the punter. Boy, the Eagles' defense has been stellar. Corey Harris for the Lions with a pop. Roy Williams, the hard-hitting rookie safety for Dallas and against the Niners. And Lorenzo Neal nailed Steve Smith, but he did return 2 for touchdowns in the win. Some special teams hitting by the Vikes. And the Vikings lead 13-6 at the half. Back to Frosty Lambeau in a moment.
Hey, man, what are we going to do? The game's on the line.
All right, hook and lateral. Ready?
Break!
They're at midfield with seconds on the clock. If they complete a pass, I don't think they can get it out of bounds and stop the clock. Whoa! Look at this! What a play! Oh, baby, that's classic!
Now this is a classic. It's all yours.
Nah, I got my own.
The size you want, the team you want. Get your own Gridiron Classic available at NFL Shop on NFL.com.
A brand new pickup truck is a beautiful thing. So be smart. Protect your truck bed with Tough Stuff, the Rhino Lining sprayed on bed liner. Hi, I'm Mark Oliver for Rhino Linings. You know, whether you're using your truck to make a buck or for just horsing around, you want to protect it and keep it looking great. Drop-in bed liners just won't cut it. They can damage your paint job and create rust problems.
Look, Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff is sprayed on up to 1/4 inch thick. It's a high-tech, flexible polyurethane that can take a beating and won't crack, peel, or warp. It's so tough, it's warranted by your dealer to last as long as you own your truck. And that's just the surface. Water can't get under a Rhino lining. It prevents rust. Drop-in liners don't. And Rhino linings resist chemicals.
13 years, 200,000 miles, and 2 engines. But still the original Rhino lining.
What's the only bed lining I'll put in my truck?
Rhino lining.
Rhino Lining.
Rhino lining.
If you work your truck hard, get the toughness of a Rhino's armor to protect your truck bed from wear and tear. Get a Rhino Lining. the world's leading sprayed-on polyurethane lining. Call now for a free sample of Tough Stuff, information, and the location of the friendly Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Get the name of your local Rhino Linings dealer and get a gift certificate for a new Rhino lining for your favorite truck owner this holiday season.
At the half in Green Bay, the Vikings over the Packers 13-6. Here is our game track from the first half. Randy Moss, only 3 catches and 25 yards, but one of them for the only touchdown of the ball game. And Brett Favre has had a fumble, an interception, and only 65 yards passing in the first half of play. But the last 2 drives led his team to field goals to get back into the game. Welcome back to Green Bay, everybody. It is just brutally cold. My lips stopped moving about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, man, this is like summer, man.
You're
this
nuts.
is beautiful out here.
It's 5 degrees.
Hey,
where are you spending your summers?
You know, look at these guys, the way they're playing. The only 2 guys that have fumbled the ball is each one of the quarterbacks. The running backs haven't. The receivers haven't. It's warm,
and
man.
for the Minnesota Vikings, what's going to be critical is they really haven't put together 60 minutes of football all year long. And it's one of the things that Mike Tice talked to us about yesterday. He said, we have to be able to finish football games. They started slow in games. They've lost them. Every game they've started fast in, they've been able to win. Now the question is, can they keep it up?
Culpepper has been sharp tonight. Carter and Wofford are deep for Longwell's kick. Tyrone Carter crossed the 25 and upended at the 26. Moments ago, Susie Culver caught up with Mike Sherman.
Mike, the first quarter looked an awful lot like your first meeting earlier this season. What is it the Vikings seem to be able to do to you guys?
Well, they're doing a good job. It's what we're doing to ourselves. You can't turn the ball over 2 times, and that's something that we did in the first half there, and basically spot them some points there. So we got to hold on to that football, continue to run the ball, and hopefully get some turnovers in the second half.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. And we have an injured player. We'll check on him in a second.
Dante Culpepper having a good, solid first half. 8 of 13, just 85 yards. You don't expect a lot of passing yards in a game like this. Starts the game with a quick throw to Randy Moss. Comes out and hangs one up Dwayne Bates. Does a nice job of pushing off and making the play. And then shows you his versatility. This is a designed run. And I think he has to do more of this. As the night goes on and the field gets tougher, let the quarterback be the runner. Be the threat that you have to be for this offense.
Let's see if they get back to Michael Bennett on the ground. He only had 7 carries in the first half. He'll get the first carry here. Bennett, who went over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, tonight left 25 tickets for family and friends. He's used to this weather, playing at the University of Wisconsin.
Mike, nobody's used to this weather. You guys keep saying
well, you hear people, that. Yeah, you're right.
No, who's used to 5 degrees?
Say that. He said, I'm here and I play here all the time.
Polar bears are used to 5 degrees.
If I said I got used to this, you'd think I was nuts.
You tolerate it.
Bennett, nice hole. And Bennett pounds forward to the 38-yard line.
He gets a first down.
KBG on the tackle. He was a track star at Wisconsin. Won 4 Big Ten track titles there, indoor and outdoor as a senior. And really with only that 1 year as a starter.
And really, what this offense missed when Robert Smith retired as a running back was an explosive back, a guy who could go the distance. Michael Bennett now in his second year has that capability.
Culpepper threw out. Moss went in, incomplete.
Well, we talked to Michael Bennett yesterday, and we asked him, about Mike Vick down in Atlanta. We talking about he's the fastest back in pro football. He went,
he said for a quarterback.
He said for a quarterback he is. He said, but I'll tell you what, you line me up and I'll run against him. I'll beat him.
Turnover's a big difference in this game so far.
2nd and 10. Bennett again, this time off the left side, got the corner. He's got another first down near midfield. Let's check in with Susie.
You know, when Bennett became the lead back, he had big shoes to fill and a lot of doubters. And last season was physically tough. He missed 3 games and mentally tough. Missing those games, he said, actually gave him an unexpected break. In the offseason, he worked on speed and recognition, and then throughout this season, his biggest improvement has been vision, and you can see it in the numbers. The result, 4 100-yard games, and the running threat is back for the Vikings this year.
And Susie, he's better than halfway there tonight. 55 yards on 11 carries. Spot the ball at midfield, another first down from Minnesota. And Culpepper again changes the play.
You got the shot, you take it with Randy Moss. He's one-on-one.
Mo Williams into the game for the first time, and he breaks it. Williams, 10 to the 6. Caught from behind by Bajabiamila. He ran down the speedy Mo Williams.
Well, the thing about it is when Mo Williams went through the hole, there was arm tackling in. On a night like tonight, you cannot arm tackle. Take a look at when Mo Williams goes through this hole. You know, Randy Moss, he just shows you how good a blocker he is downfield. And that's one of the things in the National Football League we're seeing so much more of is wide receivers blocking downfield. That's why you're getting these big runs.
Bennett back in there following Kleinsasser. Down to the 3. And really the only reason is you saw Mo Williams limp off. The only reason they caught him, he has a bad foot. I mean, that guy can fly. He would have scored on that play if he's healthy.
Well, all 10 of Mo Williams' touchdowns have come inside the 5-yard line. I mean, this is really where Mo Williams has a value to him. And now, with him being hurt a little bit, Mike Tice, the head coach of the Vikings, told us that he'll only go in and spot Michael Bennett for us because we know he's hurt.
Not a bad spot. Got 44 yards. Culpepper, quarterback sweep. Touchdown.
I'll tell you what they did is they caught the Green Bay Packers. They weren't even set. They were shifting and moving, and Culpepper went on the first sound and carried the ball in the end zone himself. This was just great heads-up play by the Minnesota Vikings offense.
And watch the block by Bryant McKinney.
But look at these guys. You see the Green Bay Packers are moving all over the place. Kleinsasser gets a great block, number 40 on the outside, touchdown.
And why not put it in the hands of a 265-pound running back? You know nobody's going to bring him down when it gets one-on-one.
Looked like the old wing tee, didn't it? Student body and the extra point blocked. Mike McKenzie picks it up and sets sail, but you can't score on a blocked extra point in the pros. And it looked like Cletius Hunt, 97, came through and got the penetration to block the extra point. Another big touchdown for the Vikings. Minnesota's offense comes to play tonight. ESPN Sunday Night Football brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. New Campbell's Chunky Roasted Favorites, hearty soups that fill you up right. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Heineken. And Walmart, always low prices. Always. Give yourself a treat if you ever come to Green Bay. Go to the Packer Hall of Fame, an unbelievable collection of memorabilia, and Brett Favre all over the place. Certainly he's going to be in everybody's Hall of Fame.
And everybody in the Hall of Fame here in Packerland has a street named after him, I think.
Javon Walker is deep, high, short kick. Walker on the run. Dragged down at the 34. 11 minutes, 24 seconds to go, third quarter. Minnesota trying to sweep the season series from the Green Bay Packers. Lombardi, Hinkle, Don Hudson, Holmgren Way, all of the greats. As Joe said, you get a street named after you. Brett Favre gets a pass.
He said he had an alley. And Mike Holmgren has a boulevard. He has a little alley.
Fisher across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Fisher has to be the workhorse tonight. Ahman Green still out injured. Favre now number 3 all-time on the touchdown pass list behind only Dan Marino and Fran Tarkenton. He's thrown 309 in his career. He may need a couple tonight.
I think this is a chance where maybe you take another one of those deep shots. They've only tried it once tonight to Driver.
They go underneath to Fisher. Little stutter step gets him across the 40-yard line. Of course, they're also playing without Terry Glenn, who gives them great deep speed.
You know, I don't care who's out there. He's going to find you. Favre is going to find the open guy. You know, he is truly amazing. What's his 170 straight?
170 tonight, yep.
Yeah, you know, they say, you know, for a quarterback, that's for anyone that's playing today. No one playing today has 170 straight starts, and he's a quarterback.
And the quarterback number is all-time number 1. Favre fakes and throws too high for Henderson. Lobbed it over the on-rushing lineman Lance Johnstone, and Johnstone forced him to change the trajectory.
Well, that ball just comes out of his hand. You saw him lick his fingers after. He makes the play. Now, he's trying to make the throw, and it just slips out of his fingers. I mean, that's the problem with the cold weather. You have to adapt to it. Sometimes the ball will slide out. Sometimes it'll get away from you, and we've seen it fall out of both Culpepper and his hands.
You lick your fingers, and they'll stick to your lip.
Well, you get stuck. Your fingers are stuck to your lip.
Oh, man.
Come out with 4 wide receivers on 2nd and 10. Comes the blitz. Favre hangs in there. Line drive to Ferguson. And Ferguson down to the Viking 44-yard line.
You know what? When he stands in that pocket and he throws overhand like he does, if that ball comes in such a hurry, you were talking about all the fingers this guy's must have broken. He's broken 2 of Donald Driver's this year so far. But watch this when he sits in. Watch him step and then fire. Look at how fast the ball gets out there to Ferguson.
He said when he was in Southern Mississippi, he used to throw 5-yard checkdowns as hard as he could. His receivers finally said, we get it, we get it. You got a big arm. Now stop it. Ferguson again, what a catch, and Kelly was all over him. Eric Kelly has been all over the receiver 3 times, and Ferguson still caught it.
When you think of this young receiving core, I mean, remember, they got rid of Antonio Freeman, Billy Schrader, and Corey Bradford. They got rid of all 3 receivers that were veterans, and they've gone with young guys, Robert Ferguson being one, Javon Walker another. This ball, he goes up to get behind. Remember, Brett Favre is rocketing that thing.
Heck of a catch. First down, Packers. Fisher. Packers sweep. Down to the 22. Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, so many quarterbacks in the NFL envy Brett Favre's stature. And while he agrees his comfort level is at an all-time high, he hasn't forgotten when he was questioned or when he was booed that it hasn't always been a cakewalk. As for that reckless abandon that he plays with, he says his style hasn't changed a great deal, but he doesn't run around as much just because he's wiser and he knows how to use the weapons around him better. But he still takes chances maybe too often, but it's always okay when you're winning, right?
Susie, I just can't imagine having more fun watching anybody else than watching Brett Favre play. He is just an absolute delight, and talking to him is even more fun.
Well, you know, the thing about it is the other day we were talking to Favre on Saturday, so we went back to see him. And we sat there with him for, what, almost an hour?
Right.
We didn't talk about football. you talk to him for, you talk about the game coming up. He talks about everything but.
Hunting.
Yeah.
A lot of hunting. And this is, well, speaking of hunting, they better hunt up a way to make 3rd and 2s. Mike Sherman's ball club has struggled in short yardage, and they shut him down in the first half on the first drive on a 3rd and short.
Favre's going to go to the shotgun on 3rd and 2. To the corner, Ferguson, touchdown. He beat Ronnie Bradford that time to the corner, and Brett Favre has thrown his 310th career scoring strike.
Does he make that thing look so easy? Now, it's freezing out here, folks, and he just flipped it.
Well, Ronnie Bradford was the one who got beat on the last pass that Robert Ferguson caught.
Look how easy this is. Well, look at this.
He slides.
And he's going backwards.
And the point after is good. Favre takes the third quarter kickoff and drives it down the Vikings' throat for the score. Brett Favre gets his 310th career touchdown pass. Only Dan Marino and Fran Tarkenton have more in NFL history. Tyrone Carter takes the short kick. Carter had a seam, just tripped up and got to the 39-yard line. Randy Moss made the first big play of the game. He'll be looking for more.
Become a football player, man, in this league. There's just certain stadiums that you gotta love. Lambeau, one of them, baby.
He loves coming here. He loves playing against the Packers. That was his earlier touchdown catch. Randy Moss, one of the most gifted football players ever to play the game. Vikings take over at the 40. And Culpepper throws this one too high, intended for Dwayne Bates.
That's another one that slipped out. That thing was out of his hand. He had no control over it.
Dante Culpepper's delivery creates problems because he's a push thrower, and the ball just squirted right out of his hand. We saw Dwayne Bates make a catch on a ball that squirted out. He steps, he doesn't load a lot, and it's just gone. You see it released so high. He's lucky he doesn't get it picked off.
Bennett. Gaping hole off the left side. Bennett off and running to the 25-yard line. Finally stopped by Todd McBride, but it's a run of 35 yards.
What a difference in this Minnesota offense, because it's 2nd down and 10, and you're going to run the ball. Look at the blocking at the line of scrimmage. It's absolutely perfect.
Bryant McKinney, number 74, just created a hole you could drive a truck through. Of course, he held out till the last possible moment to join the Minnesota Vikings as their #1 pick.
And they put him in as the starter in the second game. Bennett goes off the left side again inside the 20. McKinney is just enormous at 6'8", 343. They knew they drafted a wonderfully talented player, but he is still so far behind. He's not going to catch up until next year, but there's a building block.
Well, a building block. That's a building. Period. Don't say block. That's a building. 6'8", 350 pounds or whatever he is. And I'm going to tell you what, it's just amazing to watch how this young guy is catching on.
Well, Mike Tice did a smart thing with him. He was struggling coming out of a 3-point stance. So he said, look, I just want you to line up in a 2-point stance. That way you won't be laid off the ball, and you'll be able to take on whatever's in front of you.
2nd and 4. Culpepper tipped. Intended for Kelly Campbell, but Mike McKenzie came across and tipped the ball, and it fell short of number 16.
Boy, Mike McKenzie, you talk about timing the ball perfectly. Should have had the interception. Red Culpepper, look at this. He cut it off a little bit too short. If he'd have been a little bit deeper, it would have hit him right in the chest.
We talk about Brett Favre throwing the football hard. I put Dante Culpepper up there with the fastballers as well.
He's got a gun. Mo Williams is in for Minnesota on 3rd and 4. Culpepper under pressure. Tries to get Moss at the sideline, couldn't stay in bounds.
Oh, what a catch, though. Randy Moss almost comes up with a sensational grab. Of course, in the last couple weeks, Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper had some talks to clear the air. Moss does a nice job of working his way back and just tries to hang with his feet on the sidelines, couldn't keep it in.
Gary Anderson is hit from 22 and 23. This is 37. He's
also had a field goal or an extra point block.
And that one is good. Gary Anderson, the NFL's career leader in field goals and points scored, nails another one, and it's 22-13. Vikings have rebuilt their lead 22-13 over the Green Bay Packers. 6 minutes to go, third quarter. All of our friends here in Green Bay. How they do this.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Robert Ferguson is deep to return this one. 35, 40, 43-yard line for Ferguson. He's had quite a night. In 1954, Paul Bear Bryant took 115 of his football players into the drought-ridden desert of Junction, Texas. Only 35 would end up playing for him. ESPN Original Entertainment presents the Junction Boys. Saturday, December 14th at 9 Eastern on ESPN, immediately following the Heisman Trophy presentation at 8 o'clock. Bear Bryant, of course, one of the great all-time coaches in the history of college football. First and 10, Green Bay. Shug Jordan was the head football coach at Auburn when Paul Bear Bryant was at Alabama. And they coached against each other in an all-star game, and they had a deal so it wouldn't get out of hand. They each wore hats. Shug Jordan says, if I take off my hat, we're down by 14. That means you run a vanilla defense and we score. Bears team goes up by 14. Shug takes off the hat. Bear scores again. It's 21-0. He takes off the hat. Nothing happens. 28-0. Finally, he's out in the center of the field throwing the hat over at Bear, and he said, come on.
Bear wanted to win, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
At all costs.
Deal or no. And Bear wasn't going to take that hat off. Favre, a little screen. And it goes nowhere as Jay Graham is just planted.
You know, one other thing. When I was with ESPN before, and I did college football, and we did Alabama, and we'd go interview Bear.
Right.
I swear to you, I have no idea what he ever said. Because you'd ask him a question about the obvious. Son, I'm going to tell you about when we move that ball up. Get done, and everybody would say, what did he say? And he said, it's not important.
Ronnie Bradford is the injured Viking.
Ronnie Bradford, the starting free safety. And if he goes out, they get a rookie, Jack Brewer, who played earlier in the season, would have to come in and fill in for him.
This is a team defensively that is 30th in total defense this year, 29th last year. The Vikings defense hasn't been very good for a long time, and Mike Tice knows that's got to get his attention in this upcoming draft.
Willie Shaw, you see there, the defensive coordinator, I think realizes that he's finally starting to find the pieces. He has 3 rookies back there in Will Oford, Brian Williams, who's starting, and Jack Brewer, who's a safety that will eventually work their ways in. Eric Kelly starts at one corner. Now, of course, they said, what the heck, with 3 and 9, let's put Williams in at a corner and see what he can do. I think Willie Shaw can mold them given a little bit of time.
Willie Shaw's a wonderful defensive football coach.
And Greg Biekert sort of holding it all together at the middle linebacker position.
They got him when Oakland released him right on the eve of the opening of the season, and he has been a godsend for the defense. Favre to the shotgun. Minnesota jumps offside. Free play for Favre. Underthrown and incomplete. Javon Walker had a step. Lorenzo Bromell was the man who jumped offside, and Brian Williams got back to knock it away.
Well, that was a nice defensive play by Brian Williams. Now, Minnesota is offside. On the bottom of the screen, that's Bromell, number 91. It's offside. And Favre really knows he's got a free one here.
And did you notice after Bromell jumps offside, only one guy on a defensive line bothered to rush? He was the only guy. The other 3 guys stood there and let Favre have a free play. Third and a yard.
Oh, they didn't get it.
Fisher just got crunched.
They did not get it.
Well, I cannot emphasize enough. If the Packers want to go on They're in the playoffs now, but if you want to be able to go on, whether it's here at Lambeau or you go to Tampa or you go to Philly, whatever's going to happen, you've got to be able to convert third down in shorts. And this has really been a problem for Mike Sherman. He doesn't want to line up and have to throw the ball on third and shorts all the time, and he can't seem to get anybody moved out.
Hovan and Beekert were at the bottom of that pile. Bidwell to kick it away. And a fair catch made at the 14-yard line. 3:51 on the third quarter clock as Nick Davis makes the fair catch. And it's still 22-13. Let's update you on the playoff situation in the National Football Conference. Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and San Francisco, all the division leaders. And it looks like both New Orleans and Atlanta, barring a collapse, are going to get the wild card spots.
Well, what I saw in New Orleans today is I saw a team finally play to their capabilities and not play sort of down to a team that's struggling and rebuilding in Baltimore. And boy, Brian Billick has done a great job in Baltimore, but they dominated a team today, and that had been their problem all year. How about the Brownies winning today? Cleveland Browns?
Wasn't that amazing?
Oh, last play, throw it up.
San Francisco won on the last play.
Bennett. More running room. The ball comes loose.
Well,
Packers signaling they had it. The official who was right there did not see that the ball had come loose.
At least
and now they signal they're down.
Finally, one of the officials comes in and signals it down, and Randy Moss comes up limping.
Which is the last thing Mike Tice wanted to see.
Now, Mike Tice is not calling the plays. Scott Linehan is up in the booth. He's the offensive coordinator. They go through Mike Tice out to the field. So I would assume that the last voice that Dante Culpepper hears is Mike Tice's.
And only if he likes to play.
Bennett, nice block by Kleinsasser. When Dennis Green was here, he said one of these days Kleinsasser is going to be known as the best fullback in this league.
Well, he's big enough. But what happens, why these guys are getting outside, is that everybody on the outside are getting taken inside for the Green Bay Packers. The linebackers are not getting wide. The defensive ends are not getting wide. And all they're doing is just sealing them off, and they're getting Michael Bennett to the outside. And with his speed, he's going to pick up a first down and more.
Third time in his brief 2-year career, he's had better than 100 against Green Bay. You heard him say he grew up right at Lambeau Field with his uncle being a 4-year starting linebacker for this club. He loves coming here. He loves playing against him. And I think already the Packers have seen enough of Michael Bennett.
By the way, his uncle's name was Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
And
the other
didn't
Tony
sing.
Bennett.
The other Tony Bennett. I knew you were going there.
You don't like my voice?
I like your voice.
Thank you very much.
Your voice.
I don't.
Of course, Christian Okoye being the only other player to accomplish that feat.
2nd and 8, time winding down third quarter. That one's tipped and incomplete.
You know, it's been Minnesota's ability to run the football that has mounted in the scoring drives that they've had in the second half. Dante Culpepper has not been able to get a ball near a receiver.
He was hot early, but they have shut him down since then. He's missed his last 8 passes. Hit his 8 out of his first 10.
When he was warm.
Yeah.
Now he's over.
That was long ago.
He's had a couple slip out. That one was batted, but they've been very effective running the football. And Randy Moss has got to have his presence felt again for this offense to be successful.
3rd and 8, Moss to the near side. Culpepper goes to Kleinsasser. Instead, he had his legs taken out from under him. A solid play by Matt Bowen, the backup safety, and he saved the first down.
I'll tell you, this was an excellent tackle by Matt Bowen because you're outgunned because of Kleinsasser's size, and he hit him in the one place he had to hit him, and that's at low and at his feet to knock his feet out from underneath him.
Kleinsasser, a pretty nimble guy for a fullback who's 274.
Oh, bad kick.
And picked up and down to the 33-yard line. A 29-yard punt, no return. Let's check in with Chris Berman. Boomer.
Mike, 2 years ago, Terrell Owens was on the star. Today, he was the star for San Francisco and Dallas. This circus catch from Jeff Garcia then catches the game winner with 12 seconds to go. Steve Mariucci and the Niners, the champs of the NFC West, they win 31-27.
Boomer, thanks very much. A remarkable finish for the 49ers. Congratulations to them on their division championship.
I think two coaches that have done a remarkable job. Jim Fossil, who seems to always be on the hot seat in New York, with really a depleted defense they beat the Redskins. And Brian Billick's done an incredible job with a young football team in Baltimore. No Ray Lewis there.
Pressure on Favre. Driver caught it and couldn't hold it. The official right on top of it. Driver thought he had it, but it came out when he hit the ground.
That's what the rule is now. If you catch the ball and you're in the air. Now look at, he's in the air, and here's the ball. He doesn't have control. When he comes down, the ball comes out.
That's incomplete.
That's incomplete.
That was one that Brett Favre just sort of hung up and...
they're going to challenge this, baby.
I think they can. To be honest, you know what? Here's the thing now. I agree with you guys, okay? It is an incomplete pass. I believe it is. But I can see why they want to challenge it. They feel like he gains possession of it, then tries to do something in an athletic fashion, and the ball comes out when it hits the ground, causing a fumble going out of bounds.
The way the rule reads...
The pass is incomplete.
The way the rule reads, if you don't maintain control through the process of hitting the ground, it is an incomplete pass.
Wait a minute. Here's the thing. Does he have control? I don't think he really ever had total control of the football.
Well, I agree.
Here it is. The ball is bouncing. Well, look at it's coming down now, and he doesn't really have control of the ball.
But his knee hits the ground when it looks like he might have control. I agree with you. I'm just saying, I can see why they might consider challenging this.
No, I think I have to disagree with you because I think it's a total waste to challenge this. If he doesn't hold the ball through the process of hitting the ground, it's incomplete by rule. That's it.
You know what? I think it'd be a great idea if you have to have the right kind of people upstairs. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. I was just going to say, if you want to vote with us, log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com, click on the ETV logo, and you can play enhanced TV right along with us.
You know, the other thing about it is that you have to make a football move when you come down.
But his knee hits the ground.
But did he have control when his knee hit the ground?
That's what I think they're going to look at.
Is it inconclusive or conclusive?
I do believe it'll be conclusive that it was an incompletion.
After reviewing the play, as the player was coming to the ground, hit the ground, the ball came out, made an incomplete pass, ruling on the field stand. Green Bay will be charged with their first team timeout.
And we will see later if that timeout comes into play.
And that made a whole bunch of these duck hunters mad.
They may be armed. Under all that stuff, they may be armed.
Mike Tice, Dante Culpepper talking things over when they get the ball back. They've been very ineffective throwing the ball, the Vikings have, but very effective running it. The Packers have been just the opposite.
Packers trailed by 9. Fisher got it out to the 35 and no more.
Tony Fisher, after last week's game when he filled in for Amon Green, had Brett Favre come up to him and said, "Today you grew up." He always knew he could play. Played wide receiver, fullback, running back at Notre Dame. Played a lot of different things. You talked about it, Mike. He was hurt a lot his senior year. And when they questioned his toughness, he said, "I'll tell you what. I can go back and have you look at some games. I gained almost 200 yards against Boston College. I can play."
Didn't Boston College beat Notre Dame this year?
You always got to bring those things up, don't you? Fisher, that time, got ahead of his blockers. That wasn't set up very well. And Corey Chavis came from the safety spot to make a solid tackle. He's excited about moving from the corner to safety. He likes to hit people. And one of the brightest guys around. That is the end of the third quarter. The Vikings continue to lead the Packers 22-13. Chris Hovan in his emotion. Dante Culpepper with his athletic ability to get a touchdown. Green Bay fighting for its playoff life tonight. They are going for home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and right now they trail by 9 to the Minnesota Vikings with 15 minutes to go from Lambeau Field. 4th down, the Packers have to punt it away, and they still have all these people at the other end of the field. They're running a little promotion, and the folks are too cold to sprint off the field. They are walking very slowly. We just got a weather update. They said it actually went up 2 degrees. It is now a balmy 7.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Taking that hat a long time to get off the field. Had to wait for the hat to move, the Mad Hatter to move.
Nick Davis is the deep man. Makes a late fair catch signal inside the 25-yard line. Let's go to Susie.
Guys, it's been a frustrating rookie season for head coach Mike Tice, who calls the Vikings the almost team. They almost win each week. 6 of the 9 losses by a touchdown or less. He said the key is to stay the course, and they have to keep their intensity up for a full 60 minutes. That's what they haven't been able to do. 1 more quarter to go. Guys, you think they can hang on tonight?
Hey, Susie, your lips are blue.
Susie, we don't care about the players. We're just proud of you.
Your lips are absolutely purple and blue.
Oh, boy.
Culpepper starts them off with a running play.
Before that carry, the Vikings had rushed for 177 yards on 20 carries, averaging almost 9 yards a carry.
Why throw it?
Michael Bennett, well, because you're going to have to get some first downs, and you don't want to throw the ball back into the hands of Brett Favre. You only have a 9-point lead with that extra point being missed. And special teams has just haunted the Minnesota Vikings. Blocked punts, blocked field goals, missed extra points. And Randy Moss has disappeared from this offense.
Mo Williams is checked in as a running back. Culpepper to throw, blitz coming. And that may draw a flag because Kleinsaucer went down in a heap with Niall Diggs. Diggs remains down, and no penalty marker. They must have had an incidental tangle.
I thought Niall Diggs just flat tackled Kleinsaucer. Jim Kleinsaucer is trying to work up the field against Diggs, and it looks like he's just got him locked up.
Diggs hurt his wrist on the way down.
Watch the right part of your screen. You look.
Oh, jeez.
I just thought he tackled him.
Looked like it. Now 3rd and 9. Culpepper out in the flat. That's not going to go anywhere to Byron Chamberlain. He never had a chance. Mike McKenzie right at his knees as soon as he caught it.
Well, you know, this cold is bad. It really is. And for Dante Culpepper, and you're absolutely right. All that ball's doing is floating. And he keeps throwing them like that. It's going to be picked off.
And the Packers realize that he can't throw it down the field long, so they're just dropping back to a certain distance and closing on the receiver.
Darian Gordon will go deep.
Oh, good kick.
Back at the 24. Flag is down, and Gordon breaks out and took it over the 45. A 22-yard return, but now check the penalty.
Holding. Green Bay.
The legal push in the back.
There's number 24 is Antoine Edwards. That's holding. That
would qualify.
I would think so. When you
it's
have
a little bit more than that little push in the back.
Yeah, when you get part of the jersey.
Play for blocking the player in the back.
Well, why did you call it then? I guess what I don't understand is if an official sees what he thinks is a penalty and throws a flag, who talked him out of it not being a penalty?
Night Football brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling. Motorola bringing intelligence everywhere. Hello, Moto. And Best Buy for the latest technology. Turn on the fun at Best Buy.
I want to get the feeling back in my feet.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And he needs a new thermometer. It's not 20 degrees.
It's
20 degrees here in September.
They just killed that thing that was on his head.
Oh, look at that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So because that penalty was wiped out, the big return counts, and the Packers start from their 46. Blitz coming. Fisher out of the backfield. Nice move. 9 yards.
Brett Favre has used his athletic ability and creativity to make plays. Here he scrambles to the right, comes on back, doesn't like what he sees, and I think only he can do that. Throws it back across the field. Robert Ferguson goes up, makes a great catch, and why not finish it off with a touchdown in the end zone? Brett Favre being Brett Favre.
7 out of 9, second half, after 2/3 of his passes were completed in the first half. Hovan, nice penetration and a solid tackle as Tony Fisher couldn't get outside.
Hovan, not only does he make the tackle, but he gives you a couple push-ups after it's over with, just to let you know that he's loose and ready to go. 99, Chris Hovan. Look at this play. Boom, makes the tackle, then he does a couple push-ups. Head on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Here's a young guy only in his third year. He says, I love and respect the game. Not to play hard every play would be an insult to the guys who played before me.
One of the things he also said yesterday was it's a privilege to play here at Lambeau.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many guys appreciate it as much as I do.
He gives it a tremendous effort. Favre over the middle. What a catch by Driver. Holy cow. Low and behind him, and he caught it.
And the Minnesota Vikings defensive line, including Chris Hovan, are saying, no catch.
Look at Favre's trying to line it up quick, and the little red hanky is on the field right away.
Oh, he's got his hand under that, though.
Oh, this is a catch. This is a catch, folks. Look at this. Watch Donald Driver. Watch him get his hands underneath the ball. The ball is up in the air. He's got it. Wow. That's a catch. Man, is that a catch.
Remarkable.
And what caused Mike Tice to make the decision so quickly was Brett Favre got everybody lined up at the line of scrimmage and was ready to go ahead and run another play. So you don't really have a chance to communicate with anybody upstairs who might be looking at a replay.
And the players certainly don't have the benefit of this kind of angle to be able to slow it down and see. And the key here is they ruled it a catch on the field. They're not going to find anything in this to overturn it.
Nope. Absolutely not.
But what a great effort by Driver. I mean, you're running as hard as you can in bitterly cold conditions, and the ball is low and behind you, and you're able to get down and get it.
Well, look at the catches he's made, Robert Ferguson has made. But look at this, folks. That ball never hits the ground. Donald Driver's got his hands underneath the ball, brings it back into his chest. What a great catch. And also, he's getting smacked by Corey Chavis.
He had 4 catches for 121 yards and 1 touchdown in their first meeting earlier.
That is really remarkable. And 88% agree.
And the 12%, I think, just wanted to vote that way. Either that or they have very fuzzy TVs.
I'll tell you what is really amazing to me tonight, the way these guys...
The receiver caught the ball about 2 inches off the ground. It's a completed catch. Minnesota will be charged with a timeout.
And deservedly so. But it's amazing tonight. No fumbles by the backs and the receivers, and the catches that these guys have been making.
But I thought you were going to say only by the...
No, I just don't.
You decided to ignore that, huh?
I ignored that. Now, they already saw that. I said that twice, and that's enough.
Just 2 catches tonight, but 2 critical ones.
It is absolutely amazing the way these guys are hanging on to the football.
And he would have had he would have had a lot more yards and another catch had there not been an illegal procedure against the Packers.
Packers need 2 scores, 11:50 to get them. Fisher hit in the backfield and dragged down for a big loss. Nick Rogers, the rookie out of Georgia Tech, who was a defensive end in college. They have made him try the transition at linebacker, and he has played very well the last couple of weeks.
And I think at this point in the game, because they're not blocking at the line of scrimmage, that the Packers ought to get rid of the run and just stay passing the ball because Favre is hot, and so are the receivers.
No, I don't agree with that, Paulo.
Well, I
don't think you can just start winging it around. Of course, Nick Rogers played for George O'Leary at Georgia Tech, who is the defensive line coach for the Vikings now.
Vikings jump but get back. Favre. Ferguson. Out of bounds. Played it like fair catching a punt and just got 1 foot on the sideline.
Just loses track of where he is on the field. Brett just hangs this up. Really, it's a great mismatch. You've got Robert Ferguson at 6'1" against Tyrone Carter, Eric Kelly at 5'10", and he doesn't get a chance to come back on the ball.
Hey,
Kelly can't find it.
Well, you're going to lose where you are when you wait that long for that baby to come down.
Looks like a punt. Fielded a punt.
He was just, the only thing he was thinking about was catching the ball, not worried about his feet.
And the official right on top of it. Now a big 3rd down and 14 to go for Green Bay. Blitz coming. Favre escapes. What a throw! Complete down to the 15-yard line. Ferguson again.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. What a play by Favre. Are you kidding?
He ducked under Tyrone Carter and got back out and saw Ferguson coming across the middle. That's absolutely incredible.
Oh, he had that look coming out of the huddle that this was going to be something special. From the left side of your screen, here comes the blitz. He fakes it out, and then he just wings it right in the middle. Look at the catch by Robert Ferguson, and then stretches to get it in the end zone.
He has set such a tremendous standard for himself. He said it's more and more difficult every week to go out and be Brett Favre. Not tonight.
Yeah, but he's doing a good job of being himself.
Look at him.
Incredible. Just incredible. What a catch.
You know the thing about him? He's having more fun than anybody in the stadium or on the field. Nobody has more fun during the game than he does.
And the extra point will pull them to within 2.
Well, now.
10:48 to go from frozen Lambeau Field. We got a ball game.
He starts across. This ball here is just way out too far. Nate Wayne in the way as well.
Great anticipation by McKenzie. He ran the route and made the cut quicker than Moss did.
That ball was on target. McKenzie would have had at least had a chance to intercept it.
Stuck on 3 catches.
And this is the place where the Vikings have chosen to run the football.
And they do it again with Bennett, and the Packers choose to come up and stuff it. Todd McBride from the corner. And, Paul, you're right. They've got a lot of people near the line.
Well, they got a lot of people on the inside, and what they're doing now, as soon as they read running play like Todd McBride just did then, now he closes. And his job is to close from the outside. Don't let anybody bounce out to the outside. You've got enough help inside. Stay there.
Another sellout. The people come to their feet in Green Bay. Third and 10 for Culpepper. This one's complete. It'll be a first down to Dwayne Bates. A strike from Dante Culpepper.
What big-time plays Dante Culpepper has made these last 2 third downs. The first one he runs for. This one he hangs in the pocket. And David Dixon, number 71. Watch the big guard step out and make the block. Nice job by the big fella. Bates just turns. He's really complimented Randy Moss in this one. Randy Moss only having 3 early catches, but Dwayne Bates has been the guy that stepped up big for the Vikings.
And that Minnesota offensive line has done a whale of a job, both run blocking and protecting Culpepper.
You can almost guarantee another run here.
Mo Williams. Nothing. But this is working a lot of time off the clock. We're down to 6:44 and counting.
I think something to keep in mind, we've seen the success that the Minnesota Vikings have had running the football. Remember, Gilbert Brown is not playing, and he is a big part of what that defense is able to do up front. Rod Walker not near as big as Gilbert Brown.
Who is?
Bryant McKinney.
No, he's taller. He is round.
Okay.
2nd and 9. Four-man rush. Now some pressure, and Culpepper gets to the 38-yard line, back at the line of scrimmage.
This is, if it's called a sack and he's behind the line of scrimmage, this is a coverage sack. Because watch this. The defensive line, the offensive line, they're doing a pretty good job right here. And when Culpepper steps up, he has nobody to throw the ball to.
Of course, he wants to go to Randy Moss, I think, on this one. McKenzie does a nice job of giving him nowhere to go.
McKenzie, a third-round draft choice out of Memphis 4 years ago. Another big third down for the Vikings. Packers show blitz. Jump offside, and it looked like McKinney may have moved.
Well, it might be interesting because Bonnie Holiday, number 90, moved first. And then you wonder if McKinney didn't react to it, which should be illegal.
Full start, 74, offense.
But it isn't.
5-yard penalty, still third down.
All right, this Brian McKinney we were talking about. This guy is 6'8", 250 plus, or 350 plus. Look at it. Now he's moving. But, you know, that's what Joe was talking about earlier. They've got him in a two-point stance. And whether you're in a two-point stance or a three-point stance, once you get set, you can't move anything.
Well, once he starts leaning, he's not going to stop either.
I like what the Packers did on that third down play. They lined up as if they were going to blitz, and I think that's the one thing that they should do here. Don't be afraid to blitz this guy.
3rd and 15.
Here they come.
Delayed blitz, they go with a screen. And Bennett taken down on a brilliant tackle. Niall Diggs saved the day. They had blockers in front. If he doesn't get Bennett, look out.
Well, they had, it looked like a double screen going on. Bonnie Holiday gets pressure. He is number 90. Here he comes to the outside and the inside. He gets the pressure. And then Diggs. Watch number 59 make this play.
He goes around Corbin Lucina and is able to make the tackle.
Fair catch made near the 15-yard line with 4:32 to go. Brett Favre is the master. Can he do it again? His team is down by 2. Vikings by 2 at Green Bay. 4:32 to go in the ball game. Brett Favre has done it so many times before. 23 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. 20 have come here at Lambeau Field. He has another opportunity right now. A field goal gives them the lead. Incomplete, threw it into double coverage. Ferguson tried to go up and make another big catch, but couldn't.
They like the matchup over there with Robert Ferguson on Kelly. They figure, why not? Let it fly. He's made a couple of plays before. Eric Kelly is pressing him. He doesn't look back for the ball until late. Robert Ferguson can't quite make a play on it.
And Kelly really hasn't been beaten on anything all night long. He's been right there.
The one thing you don't have to worry about with Brett Favre is taking off and running with it. You know he's just going to buy time.
Draw play. And it looked like Fisher just lost his balance and tripped, but he dives out near the sticks. They have to reach the 25 for a first down. Now they'll now mark it back at about the 23.5.
All right, let me ask you this.
Tony Fisher would have had first down easy if he doesn't trip up.
Let's say they don't get anything on this, and it's 4th down and a yard.
I'll tell you what, you kick the ball because you have 2 timeouts, and really, what has Minnesota done?
Right,
not much.
I agree. Just wanted to pose the question to you, Professor.
Pose it.
It's been posed.
Favre wants to throw on 3rd and short and has the first down. Javon Walker, the rookie, with a big catch in front of Brian Williams.
Well, why shouldn't the rookie make a great catch? Everybody else has been making a great catch.
That's why he's been brought in here. Brett Favre cuts this one loose. He doesn't have a problem holding on to the football. You're right, Paul. He comes over the top, and it's a rocket ship. Javon Walker was a running back in high school. Was drafted by the Florida Marlins to play baseball. Back and forth for 3 years doing that.
Favre double clutch. It was tipped twice. Intended for Fisher and falls harmlessly incomplete.
I think he could have got it to him the first time without double pumping. Brett Favre makes everything interesting. Look at this. Little little pump. Boy, what a nice job by Kenny Mixon. Just getting his left hand up.
Boy, and Corey Chavis nearly had a gift interception.
Paul, this is where you constantly refer to the fact that one thing that Brett Favre always talks to us about in a 2-minute situation, right? This is sort of like it. Just get the first down.
Just get first down. All they need is 3 points to win the football game.
Blitz coming. Favre throws underneath. Ferguson. He'll get about 7, maybe 8, bringing up another big 3rd and short. Tyrone Carter makes the catch.
I'm going to tell you what, though. Now I believe that this is 4-down situation, Joe, because, you know, he's taking his time. When I say he, Brett Favre coming to the line of scrimmage, he's just taking his time in the huddle. They're not in a hurry to do anything. They're running time off the clock. So to me, it's just telling me that they're going on 4th down if they don't make it.
And each team has 2 timeouts.
And Ferguson having a career night for the Green Bay Packers. 3rd and 2. Favre throws long. Sharper.
There's a flag.
Intercepted. Now we'll check the penalty. It would be Sharper's 3rd pick of the year. Oh, check it. Jack Brewer. My apology. But interference.
That's interference. 21, defense. First down.
Corey Chavis, number 21 on Donald Driver.
Well, he's holding him right by the shoulder pad. That's a good call.
They're pushing each other. Actually, each one has an arm on one another. Brewer does a nice job of going up and making the play. And Mike Tice talked about his football team being able to play 60 minutes. He said, we've been able to play 56, but 60 hasn't been in the stars for us.
That was a 28-yard penalty. Fisher hit in the backfield and dragged down for a loss. Nice play by Big Fred Robbins. And that is going to take us to the 2-minute warning. The Packers can take the lead with a field goal. They're getting close. Average margin of victory is 1.4 points. Right now it's 2. The Packers going for a field goal, perhaps, and a 1-point lead. But right now Brett Favre is thinking touchdown. This play stays in bounds. Walker makes the catch. They'll spot it at the 23. From here, it would be a 40-yard kick, and on a night like tonight, that's not easy.
Before that play, you talk about an even game, Joe, with Vikings up by 2 points. They each have 300 yards of total offense.
Yeah, and one missed extra point is the difference between winning and losing, and it's haunted the Minnesota Vikings. Their special teams has killed them all year.
3rd and 8. Four-man rush. Now Favre has to scramble. Dives and banged out of bounds. They'll mark it inside the 15-yard line, which is right at the sticks.
He got it.
Lorenzo Bromell nailed him, but Favre took the punishment to get the first down.
Boy, he almost gets sacked. Watch this. Watch how close he is to being sacked. Right there. And then the dive.
Mike Flanagan, number 58, did a good job of keeping Lance Johnstone away from him. And Mike Flanagan has said every time Brett gets hit, he takes it personal. So he's not going to let anything happen to him. That time he got hit close to the sidelines.
And how athletic is Flanagan? He was the starting center, had to move out to left tackle because of injuries. Play clock is going to wind down. The Packers have to use their second timeout 1:11 to go from Lambeau Field. Can Brett Favre do it again? On Augusta, and the punch 25 years later. Rudy T. and Kermit Washington. If you joined us late, it's been all Vikings. The Packers keep coming back. They're within 2 and within field goal range. Fisher to the 10-5, touchdown. And now they will go for 2.
Was that a great call? Was that a great call? But he took a timeout, Favre, because the clock was running down. They went to the sidelines, and they decided to run a play. That's only the second running play that they've run since I said they were going to throw the ball from here on out. The other one was a drawback here.
Tom Rossley, the offensive coordinator, he never gave up on running the football. He showed a lot of patience through this second half, even though the Packers have been down through this entire game until this moment.
Ironically, scoring with 1:06 to go on the clock leaves Minnesota with 1:06 and 2 timeouts.
Under normal conditions, you'd say it would be fine, but the problems that Dante Culpepper has had holding onto the football, I don't know if it's enough.
High snap, Favre will take off, and he won't make it, buried at the 3-yard line. But really, that play is insignificant. Minnesota's going to need a touchdown to win anyway.
Well, this is it's a handoff, a long handoff to Fisher. Watch this. But the blocking is just superb. They get blocking to the outside, and that is unbelievable.
Tony Fisher, the rookie, gets to make the Lambeau leap, filling in for the injured Amon Green. And watch Favre.
Totally in charge. No, that's not peace, folks. That means we're going for 2. And peace to you, too. Boy, he just has a walk and a stroll about him that is special.
He's a remarkable player.
Tony Fisher talked about playing at the University of Notre Dame and what a great experience it was with a storied tradition, and now coming here with the Packers and having that same type of a feeling, and then being able to leap into the stands with the Lambeau leap.
He gets the best of both worlds, doesn't he?
He really does. He said he thought he graduated in May, but the toughest part of this game has been the mental part. He's continuing to study and been a good student at it. Now it's Randy's turn and Dante's to see if they can come back.
And Randy Moss has been shut out since that quick start. 3 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. They haven't been able to get the ball to him since then. Carter from the 15. Taken down to the 34. In 1954, Bear Bryant took 115 football players into the drought-ridden desert of Junction, Texas. Only 35 would survive the experience to play for him. ESPN Original Entertainment presents The Junction Boys, Saturday, December 14th at 9 Eastern on ESPN, immediately following the Heisman Trophy presentation, which comes your way at 8 o'clock. The Junction Boys. Man, I bet that was brutal. What he put those guys through.
Wouldn't mind being in a desert in Texas right now.
No.
Warm weather wouldn't hurt us.
Bowen was the injured player.
Dante Culpepper has a chance to come out and lead his ball guys. He's made some good throws to Dwayne Bates. I think that they've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Randy Moss a little bit. Some way, somehow, up the field. And now if you're the Green Bay Packers, do you go to the prevent defense or do you keep pressure on Dante?
I always think the prevent defense prevents you from winning. So, no, if you've done something for 59 minutes and you're ahead now, don't stop doing it. Don't let Dante Culpepper run around and beat you.
Moss had a spectacular first quarter. They have thrown the ball at him only 4 times since then. No catches. 2 timeouts for the Vikings. 1:01 on the clock. 4-man rush. They want the screen, can't get it. Now Culpepper goes to the other side. Boy, the Packers sniffed that one out perfectly, and Bennett taken down by Vonnie Holiday.
They played it beautifully. There's a double screen on. They had screens to both sides of the field. Culpepper decided to throw it. He'd have been better off throwing the ball away.
And nobody rushed him.
No.
Because the clock continues to run. Bajabiamila from behind didn't get there. Moss just overthrown.
We got a flag on this play.
There is a marker down, and it will go against the Vikings.
McKenzie is underneath Moss. Now he's up on top. Dante just puts the ball out too far.
Well, you have to be impressed with what McKenzie has done tonight against Randy Moss.
Offense, 10 yards, penalty, still second down.
You know what I don't understand is after they completed the first pass on that screen that didn't go anywhere, why didn't they use one of their timeouts?
Good question.
And, you know, I'm not a big fan of the shotgun in the 2-minute either. I think you waste time trying to get the ball back. You get up under center and run your 2 minutes from under the center. If you're in a situation like this where time is not in your favor.
Minnesota needs a touchdown. Bajabiamila on the pressure, and there he got it the second time. The ball is loose. The Packers had it. The Vikings may have gotten it back with 15 seconds on the clock. Bryant McKinney, who let Bajabiamila get by him, hustled back to get the ball. They'll stop the clock with 11 seconds to go. Oh, Kabir Bajabiamila just made a remarkable play.
Watch him, number 94. He runs over McKinney. Now he hits Culpepper once. He hits him a second time. Now watch what he does on the third time. That's the third time he touched him and made him fumble.
Remember the game in Tennessee when Javon Curse ran down somebody?
Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, yeah, I got Jamal Lewis or somebody like that. This belongs in that category. That kind of hustle and that kind of speed and that kind of excitement from his quarterback.
Only 11 seconds to go. Minnesota needs a miracle. Underneath to Walsh, and Walsh will give himself up and then is hit anyway. They stop the clock with 1 second.
The Vikings were a problem for Brett Favre, and for about 56 minutes tonight, they were still a problem for him. Barring a Cleveland Brown type miracle, they won't be a problem now.
And certainly given time, Culpepper will have no problem reaching the end zone with a Hail Mary.
Well, when you think about what Tampa Bay did today, what Philadelphia did today, if you want home field advantage, you have to keep pace with them.
I said tonight the big dog, Brett Favre, two things he wanted to do was revenge and get home field advantage for his football team. They know, the Green Bay Packers know that they have to win out to even have a chance to get home field advantage.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what, he's getting some revenge. He got it tonight.
Had a wonderful, wonderful second half. And now the Vikings down to their last play. Hovan urging them on.
Well, what happened on that last play is which I don't like, is the fact that the Packers only rushed two guys. In the middle, the tackle in the middle was playing as a spy at the line of scrimmage. Now they have a three-man rush again.
And you've got the defensive backs lined up at the 10-yard line. I don't think Dante can throw it that far.
Three guys deep. Pressure.
Well, he can't.
And it's intercepted by Darren Sharper. And Sharper's going to try to run it back. He needs to get on the ground. The game is over.
He wants a touchdown.
Sharper runs into his own man and goes down at the 17-yard line. That's the ball game. The Green Bay Packers have beaten the Minnesota Vikings, and now we have a fight.
Well, they were knocking Packers on the ground in front of the Minnesota Vikings bench as Sharper was running with the football.
Chris Hovan and Mike McKenzie were joined before this all broke loose.
And the coach is in there trying to break it up. Mike Tice is as big as any of these guys.
Well,
He's trying to break it up.
Sorry, Mike, but I just looked as Sharp was running. I looked to the Minnesota bench. There were 2 Packers that hit the deck over there. Somebody had knocked him off the bench and knocked him down.
Well, if they came off the bench and hit somebody, there will be a huge fine, and you would guess a suspension.
Hey, Chris Hoban. Don't go in those stands, man. Yep. There's what happens there. That's Kleinsaucer. Comes off and whacks Anderson. And, and then look at Tyson's in the middle of all that thing trying to break this thing up.
An ugly scene at the end of the game, but a marvelous performance by the Green Bay Packers to come from behind and beat the Minnesota Vikings 26-22. They go to 10-3. The final, the Packers 26, the Vikings 22. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Colbert, our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick saying goodnight from Lambeau. This has been a presentation of ESPN.